Alright, how you doing, folks? Here I've done here. I'm just gonna give a brief tutorial basically on how to do some crafting writs, but on the cheap. A few people have been asking simply, well, why, what's the best way to do some crafting writs? You have to do a lot of time farming, you have to buy the mats, all this other good stuff, and I'm gonna show you what I usually do here at end level. You can do this as you level up as well, but the trick of it is you're gonna have to make sure your crafting levels around the same level as your level. Why? Because we're going to do it by stealing. Now, first off, I should probably show you off my gear here. I'm using a standard thief set that I have, which reduces our detection radius, and at my Khajiit, which makes it pretty easy as well. Being on V14, most of the stuff I need is in Craglorn. And we're going to have to get a couple stuff here to begin with. Now, usually I'm pretty low on Nightwood, so that's usually the first things I'm going to go steal. And if you're Nightblade or you're, have the ability to stealth, you can probably do this a little bit easier. But I am a Khajiit DK. It's usually pretty easy. So we're just going to go ahead and grab some of these materials. Get yourself stealthed in here. As long as we don't get a bounty, we're good. And you'll also probably hear some of the sounds from the townsfolk here that makes you want to drive. That'll drive you insane after the 50th time you've heard it. Now you can grab more stuff in each one of these runs here. I'm just doing it quickly for the Nightwood here, as it is. If I grab all the, clothing stuff I need and all the metalworking stuff, my bags are going to fill up pretty quickly. But I like to get through each one of these first. Oh. So we're grabbing all this stuff, and you're kind of wondering, well, what are we going to do with this? Well, we're going to break it all down, and then remake it. You know, you're kind of like, well, why don't we just steal it and then hand it in? Well, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. You won't get credit for it unless you actually make it. But the good thing is that whatever we steal is going to be up-leveled. Like, you can do this at any town, really. But being that I need to turn it in here, this is where I need to do it. And this also comes back to where do you want to steal, what you steal, and let's make sure this person's not going to find us. Nope. Okay, go ahead. So we grabbed all that good stuff there. We're going to deconstruct it. Now this is all going to match whatever my level is. So you can see this, well, I'm actually V16, but anything that you steal is at least V14 when you do it, okay? So now that we did that, we have to make, let's see here, crafting, woodworking, Inferno Staff, Ice Staff, and Lightning Staff, 333. Now, sometimes you're not going to find all the materials you need to do this, and you might have to do it multiple times, like logging off, logging on, logging off, logging on. But it's a little bit easier than wandering through the wilderness trying to find stuff a lot of the time. Oh. And got that one done. Lightning. Once you get all these done, you just run on back to your writs and you turn it in. It's that simple. And you don't have to really worry about, collecting a lot of mats out in the wilderness or anything else like that. The more often you do this as well, the more mats the better rewards you'll probably get as well. And this is going to be kind of important given the Imperial City update with the new crafting writs also include chances for those glass fragments. So the more you do this, the better off you are. I usually recommend Craglorn simply because it's easiest to get the materials you need in one central location, and it's also where you turn in your quest. Just make sure to take a look at what you have. Like, if you have a bunch of Shadowhide, like I do, and most people probably will because it's easiest to get some of this stuff, you won't have to worry about some of this. As you can see, it's pretty easy to get most of the mats you need. Also helps if you can recognize the names of things, like a gauntlet and a helm. Helms will be actually heavy. Helmet, on the other hand, like I just picked up, will be Shadowhide. Sabatons, for example, will be heavy. You just grab all this stuff. Break it all down. Now, if you're also training, this is a great way to get yourself up in training. So if you're V14, for example, and you've never done any crafting whatsoever, just go ahead, take a few days stealing stuff, breaking it down just like this. Your level is going to go up really quick on that. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have here, crafting and blacksmithing. Okay, great sword, sabatons, and gauntlets. Great sword. As you notice, we can always pick up more stuff around here as well. The hardest I find, the items that are hardest to find usually is the woodworking. Clothing you can find all over. As you see here, we got a Shadowhide there. Shadowhide is probably the easiest to find. Definitely can find a lot of metal around. Let's take a look here. What do we need for a clotherwrit? We need 2 shoes, 2 hats, and 2 sashes. Okay. 2 shoes. 2 sashes. I think it said 2 hats too. Double check, make sure you don't make something you don't want to. Yep. Go turn this in.
A gift given freely is
They're giving a bit more money for these as well. Oh look, we're getting the glass style motif right there. That's exactly what you want. Get another one? Nope, no double reward. So that's basically it. Let me show you a few more spots you can grab some of this material as well. Notice this stall here. Just go ahead and crouch down here. Pretty easy. Just grab all this stuff here. Gloves, hat, helmet. We already have Shadowhide, so we don't want that. Shoes, shoes. So it's going to be walking around barefoot, whatever. Jerkins. Yep, we need jerkins. Those are going to be our shadow spun stuff. Hats. Boots are going to be for Shadowhide, which we're already full of. Shoes, yes. Breeches, yes. Jerkin, yep. Other shoes. And gloves. Okay. So with that, we got a bunch more shadow spun stuff. A couple more stuff in here as well, but a little bit more leather working in this stall. Gloves. And just also try recognizing the names. Like if you see boots, that's going to be leather. If you see bracers, that's going to be leather. If you see jack, that's going to be leather. Okay? If you start recognizing these names, it's going to make your stealing a little bit more efficient too. Now I'll come up to this one here. You notice we got cuirasses, sabatons, helm, gauntlets, gloves here. This is going to be shadow spun. Sabatons, helms, cuirass, helm, sabatons, all this stuff here. So you can all steal this stuff if you want to get more void steal on your stuff. If you can make through the jump here, which they kind of nerfed jumping with this last patch here. Hopefully it's going to change later. Now be careful about this randomly taking stuff here too, because these guys, yep, see? They're going to move on a stop of a dime. You never know when their detection radius is going to be changed here. Just take it all back. Bring up to your vendor thing here. Clothing, yay! Look at all the shadow hide and shadow spun stuff. See, we're already out of space on this here, so I'm just gonna empty it out a little bit. Yeah, I don't need that. I don't need that. Thank you. I still need one spot open. Do. No, just destroy that. Let's get out of that. Thank you. And this will open up my spaces pretty quickly here once I get this all broken down. Come up here.
You are a friend to Princess Ah. Safe roads to you then.
Yes, thank you. Come up here, just deconstruction here. As exciting as I know it is to watch a YouTube video on breaking stuff down, just showing you how much stuff we get from all this stuff here we're just breaking down. No, I did not have anything in my inventory bags when I started this. And from one little run there, I'm about 100 void cloth and 100 void steel. And I haven't even cleared out this town totally. Okay, so if you ever have trouble with your crafting routes, just remember, steal stuff. It's going to be a lot cheaper for you in the long run. So that's my little tutorial on that, and hopefully you've had some good times with it, guys. 3, 2, 1. Yay! I do